This is day 9 of tasting a different Canadian wine every day until we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So, welcome, and if you haven't, hit the bell down below, subscribe to that new channel, and welcome. We are so excited to present a new Canadian wine, and today we are talking about the Horseshoe Cellar 2024 vintage, the Kelsen Block Riesling from the Grimsby Hillside Vineyard in the Lincoln Lakeshore appellation of Niagara Escarpment. So a very exciting wine, a very rare wine with a really tiny production from two guys, Scott Woody and John Daniel Steele, two Ontario guys who now both are here in British Columbia, across the country, pursuing their career in a different in the wine business, but here more with the BC wine industry. But this is Niagara fruit from single vineyard, single block. And a really cool endeavor, a really cool story behind these two guys, a passion project, only 70 cases of that made. Just a little one harvest of 1.2 ton of Riesling grape, all the way back, well, now 2 years ago. And I had a chance to meet with John Daniel, which is a friend of ours here because of his work with the Okanagan Crushpad back in the day here in BC. But Mira and I had a chance to chat about his passion project with Scott Woody. And Scott is the vineyard manager at Tantalus Vineyard in Kelowna. But Ontario guys know that the passion for Riesling, for the Niagara guys, are often underrated, are often not known. But more I talk with people from the Niagara region, they don't have that fire burning for Riesling. This is their grape, right? This is all the way back in the early 1980s when the Weiss and Brian Schmidt and Cave Spring brought the Weiss clone from Germany with Hermann Weiss. I mean, they knew from the very beginning that clone of Riesling could do something very spectacular in Niagara. And I mean, 45 years down now, we can see the amazing result of Riesling, especially on the base of the escarpment or on the escarpment. So I can't wait to see which profile that Riesling is going to offer, but it's really exciting to see what's coming up. And very tiny, small batch. Like I mentioned, it's a passion project. And I keep looking at that because, like, you usually don't have the chance to taste these wines across the country, right? These are like small, tiny batch from Ontario, where usually local are going to enjoy that. But these wines are made under the banner at Collab Wine, which is a group of garagiste, I would say, or more of independent winemaker that under the same banner produce their wine at one place. And in this case, at Collab, they produce it with at the Mary Nissen facility, and all share equipment, share knowledge, share the space. And so it allows for the small winemaker who would like to grow their business from one label to many labels into a bigger, more sustainable portfolio, always sharing a marketing tools and sharing contacts and all of that. So it's a very important new thing that we're seeing develop around, and Collab is one of them, led by Mark Pister, which I have a great deal of respect for the man. He produced his own brand at Fogelar as well, but lead that banner at the Collab. And shout out to Mary Nissen to host this group of smaller winemakers so they can get to their dream and increase their portfolio, showcase their talent, and also help to map the Niagara terroir, one label at the time. And we've seen that a lot. I mean, Thomas Batchelder is the guy, to my opinion, who really started that whole process, making a wine from the same grape from different vineyard plot across a region, just to showcase the different terroir from the same grape and the same winemaking technique. And some of these smaller winemakers, that they're using that process as well. And that's what John Daniel and Scott are really dreaming of, is to start the same type of concept and to get their hands on different Riesling blocks from across Niagara and showcase the different aspect, the different delivery of Riesling. This is a very versatile type of grape. You can do so many different things with Riesling. And like John Daniel was mentioning to me the other day, that it's the grapes are just dictating what they're going to do the year of the harvest. I mean, now they're working. Well, you know what? Enough talking. I think I'm going to just pour some of my glass. I haven't smelled that wine yet. I haven't tasted this wine yet. I really want to. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do this. Woo! Aromatic. I can smell it from here. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So this is that lime, stony, like chalky type of Riesling that I was expecting from this area. But like what John Daniel was mentioning to me, it's they don't go into that on a yearly basis expecting to make a specific type of Riesling, the delivery, like projecting the delivery. No. This is like the grape will speak for itself. They're going to let whatever Mother Nature provide that year, if it's a hotter vintage, a cooler vintage, a rainy, whatever they get, they're just going to follow what the grape are asking for, which is really interesting, because sometimes you got winemakers or wineries who have a template, right? They're producing a oaky Chardonnay, they're producing this type of wine, and no matter what they get from the vineyard, they're going to try to have what I say, it's the style, the winery style, right? Stylistically, wineries want to be known for a certain style, and they're going to try to replicate that style year in and year out. So it brings stability, right? Recognition. In this case, it's the opposite. That's the terroir expression. They really want, like, depending on where the grapes are coming from. And in this case, this is Grimsby Hillside, the Kelson block, which is a block at the front of the vineyard, the closest from the lake. And so the proximity of the lake brings more moderate temperature, not as much altitude, but right at the foothill of the escarpment. Niagara Escarpment is a very important geological element, which brings specifically the soil composition and the altitude and the irrigation. And Grimsby Hillside is one, to my personal opinion, tasting around or over 2,000 Canadian wines every year. Grimsby Hillside, if it comes from Chardonnay, from Cabernet Franc, Pinot Noir, every time that I taste a grape varietal coming from Grimsby Hillside, there's always a very high standard. My expectations are always very high as well, because I know that the quality of fruit from Grimsby Hillside is absolutely off the chart every year. So kudos to John Daniel and Scott to get their hand on a few rows of the Kelson block here. Now, I mean, let's dig into it a little bit, because I'm really interested to see which kind of style they're delivering with the 2024. And like just I mentioned, right? It's not something they have set in stone. They're just going to go with the flow So it's interesting. 12 gram of residual sugar, which is, I don't usually always try to talk about residual sugar, but I think in terms of Riesling, it's something fairly important to understand the profile. So to my opinion, it's going to be very dry. I'm expecting something very dry. So yeah, let's go. Yeah, classic nose. Very, very classic Niagara nose. Yeah, lime, lemon, yellow fruit, like a little bit of a yellow plum, white flowers as well. So expressive, yeah, a very expressive nose. The aromas make a ton of sense for what I'm expecting. So yeah, it's an exciting first step here. I love that. Now you notice that I'm serving my Riesling not super cold, because I like when my Riesling, or like in a white as well, in a white, when the wine is too cold, it kind of mutes the aromas and the flavors. So I try to keep it a little cooler than room temperature, but not overly cold. So I'm getting a lot here, a lot. Like lime, key lime, also like the sweet lime. Yeah, that's very dominant. Mm. Mm. Oh. This is smooth. Really smooth. Nice texture. I'm expecting maybe like there might be some least stirring in there, because there's a beautiful texture, a little richness, especially on the mid palate. The entry, the first step, it's not aggressive. Comes in soft. Comes in, I mean, very respectfully. Like nothing is harsh, nothing. And sometimes with Riesling, even outstanding Rieslings can be austere, can push you back a little bit right out of the gate on the front palate. No, it's soft. It's there's an elegance to it. Oh, I love that. Nice weighty mid palate, and the finish. The finish is that chalky limestone type of finish. I really like that. I'm expecting from this area, right on the foothill of the escarpment. That's the mineral finish. A little bit of saltiness as well. I like that little salty finish. It brings so much to the finish. This is really cool. Mm. Nice concentration. So the fruit profile on the palate definitely reflect what we have on the nose. There's definitely like that lime component, yellow apple, lifted by a beautiful acidity throughout the whole structure. I would say this wine has at least 10 to 12 years of aging potential. Absolutely no doubt about that. Yeah. So to me, my experience with that wine is, in terms of approachability, it's a very young wine, 2024. It could have been austere on release, but no. Like that's again really, really good, soft approach, great opening, soft mid palate, lingering finish, lifted acidity throughout. Yeah, I like that. I like that. There's also a certain focus, even if it's soft and creamy on the mid palate. There's also some focus. There's also some linear aspect, especially the edges. The edges are well defined. Very well on that yellow apple lime. A little bit of white spice on the back end as well makes it like the spice, the saltiness, the minerality, all intermingled to linger, all lifted by that beautiful acid. This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. I mean, to me, this wine, I can definitely do 92 plus for sure. We're probably at around like $35 to $40. I would expect. I haven't looked at price point, but $35 would be absolutely pinpoint for that. This is a premium style of wine. Such a tiny production. And you know what I'm very excited with that? I'm super thrilled to see in the future if we can start to get Riesling from from different appellation from these two guys, right? Because they're very well connected in Niagara. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple other labels, Riesling focus, mapping Niagara Riesling. That will be really, really exciting. So I want to tip my hat to Scott Woody and John Daniel Steele to keep going on their passion of Riesling in Niagara. This is my first go around for their label at Horseshoe Cellar, and I will be pursuing a bottle of that, or couple, because I would like to age at different stage. I would be pursuing a 6-pack of that on a yearly basis to see the evolution. But this is such a fun start for a label of two guys who truly believe on the potential of Riesling in Canada. And I'll tell you, to my personal opinion, this is one of the top 3-4 grapes in the country. Riesling can be very prolific across Ontario and also across British Columbia. So, and I believe that the market for Riesling is starting to increase as well. The demand is starting to increase. I mean, I think we're past that big, heavy, sweet Riesling. That's the only thing that people know. I mean, there's so many in between, right? Like from the very linear, focused, mouth-watering, austere type of German Riesling, or all the way at the other end, that more Alsatian style with rich palate, and everything in between. And I think that here in Canada, we can deliver at many different aspects. And sweet is not a bad thing. I believe that the balance between sweet and acid makes magic with Riesling. If the acid can lift the sweetness, that's where you make something special, right? Yeah, there can be some really dry Riesling who are really special, but my personal taste is when there's a little bit of sweetness to round up the edges, to bring that little softness around. And here, that's exactly what Horseshoe's delivering, with stunning fruit and stunning terroir component of the Grimsby Hillside Vineyard at the Kilsom Block in the Lincoln Lakeshore appellation. So kudos, guys. Great job here. 92 plus point wine. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet to our new channel, hit the button below. Just subscribe. Keep following us. We're promoting Canadian wines every day until we hit 1,000 subscribers. So I'll see you tomorrow for day 10. Thank you, and see you next time.